Hello everyone. I'm delighted to speak to you today and thank you so much organizing committee to have me on board this year. Hopefully we will be able to meet live soon to share our beliefs and also with a good beer in a bar. Little history about myself. In 2015 I started my professional career, as you can see, on a bike together with surgeon Gerrit Sluter. Surgeons Emma Bruns and Bouke van den Heuvel, together we started our Dutch Fit for Surgery Foundation to share our prehabilitation beliefs. In 2018, I finished my PhD showing the benefits of prehab for colorectal cancer patients. And last year I published a book available in stores to make prehab and a healthy living understandable to the general public. Currently I'm ending my GP training and I'm creating a nationwide fit for surgery platform in primary care in the Netherlands. Today I'm talking about the impact of inactivity. I will back it up with some numbers, show you the impact, the role of patients, and present you a solution. Let's start with the numbers. In the Netherlands, with a population of 17 million, 10 million of them do suffer from one or more chronic diseases. This means a percentage of 57, increasing by age, and men and women no big differences. Showing at the numbers of the UK and in many Western countries, this is no different. In the UK, 4 out of 10 British adults also have one or more chronic diseases. We became couch potatoes. Where we needed to perform exercise to kill a mammoth in the past, we now ended in a position of chronic inactivity. Chronic diseases are everywhere. So speaking of inactivity in general, we do have a very bad starting position. Many of us start from a position of weakness due to our sedentary lifestyles. But what happens if you have an injury, are forced to rest more than usual, or need to recover from surgery? And how long do those effects last? How can you minimize the side effects of immobilization and recovery from injury? For this, we need to know a little bit more. Where do these chronic diseases come from? This is some other numbers, because bad numbers aren't just there. If we think about the origin of the environment, plays a very important role. Why can we get everything that's so salty, too sweet and too fat at every street's corner? Why is 70% of what we sell in supermarkets unhealthy? Why do we work behind the desk for 40 hours a week? And why do prices for healthy food still increase more than unhealthy variants? This environment and our attitude causes the numbers that you see here. These are numbers from the Netherlands, in which our population overuse alcohol in more than 60%. 50% of us has overweight, and we started to exercise less and less and less, especially during this COVID pandemic. 50% doesn't meet the requirements or the advices in exercising. Still, a quarter of us smokes. With the COVID pandemic, it pluses with 10%. And mental health is more and more a challenge in our country, and also by the pandemic that doubled in numbers. So up to 40% experience too much stress. So our starting position consists of environmental factors, our current societal system, but also our own attitude and an ongoing ethical discussion. Think how you can be part of this change. We may need a change in our mindset, a change in our whole system to improve these numbers. Why do we usually put patients in a bed after entering our hospital? Well, they came in walking. It may not only be good for their activity, immune system and recovery when moving their own beds. It may also change the attitude of us, health professionals, towards how we organize our healthcare. Expect your change in attitude as another window of opportunity, a trigger for change, because you are the one that can build bridges and breaking through siloed thinking. And pre-op and ERAs are great examples how you can practically do so. So look at this patient. Think of him not moving his bed but lying in it for about a week. We know health consequences of inactivity or bed rest are big. When immobilized for just 1 week, you can expect a 20 to 30% loss of muscles. And even inactivity alone sets up for sarcopenia or age-related muscle loss. Beginning in our 40s, we start to lose as much as 1% of our muscle mass and 3% of our muscle strength per year. So enough about the numbers. It's clear that we have to become more active. But what if you await surgery? Since you all know the effects of surgical stress, I'm not going to explain this in very detail. I would just like to make you again aware of the systemic effects. Because the inflammatory and endocrine system are greatly impacted after surgical incision and may cause anemia, whole body protein catabolism, insulin resistance with hyperglycemia, organ dysfunction, which may all turn into severe complications. These are not short-term effects only, it can resist up to months or even a year. Think of sleep patterns, loss of body mass, and impaired homeostasis. We have done a study in colorectal cancer patients which shows there is an increased risk of getting severe complications when you do have more risk factors. And these risk factors appear to be almost all lifestyle related. Think of smoking, overweight, diabetes. And the good news is that these risk factors are, at least many of them, modifiable, even in a short period of time. So we may be able to reduce risks before surgery. And their rehabilitation came into reality. Our godfather Francesco Carli from Montreal created the idea to improve functional capacity before surgery, enhancing the recovery after. Next to the introduction of ERAS, both prehab and ERAS really made a difference. So patients are less less in the daily activities after surgery. They get back to be able to do their daily activities again themselves earlier than they had before. And prehab made a huge difference. The studies of my thesis proved what many other worldwide studies show also. Prehab, high intensity based and supervised, increases strength with 20%, functional capacity measured by the 6-minute walk test up to 15% in just 4 weeks, and gives lesser complications after surgery, 50 to 65%. And as you can imagine, that also lowers costs up to €1,200 per patient. In the right figure, you do see the earlier recovery 4 weeks after surgery of the prehab group compared to the control group. 86% versus 40% respectively. So although the impact of surgery is huge, you are able to impact by being more active before. So now we know the numbers and the impact of surgery. What do our patients say and how fit are they? This is Dineke, one of our first prehab patients, and she was double unlucky since she was diagnosed with a TIA and as by a coincidence catched with colorectal cancer. She wasn't living very unhealthy but did not exercise much. And by explaining the potential of prehab, she felt this would make her able to get back charge of her own treatment and body. And here she smiles after the uncomplicated surgery and after 1,000 kilometers on her bike just a few months after her surgery. Prehab really makes patients happy as long as you understand them well about what it means. And we need fit patients. Worldwide champions are our fittest players. Think of Messi or Ronaldo, and their MET scores around 20, so the metabolic equivalent. And we as average people score half of it. And a patient with colorectal cancer even have that again. That matters since we know that a reduction of just one MET increases mortality with 15%. And that's very important. And not only this physical starting position matters, also what goals patients have. There's usually a big gap in between what patients want and how we think that we can offer best support. So I'm asking you, have you asked your patients how they would like to be supported best? Usually patients emphasize energy level, how to get back to their functional capacity to be able to perform their daily routine, doing groceries, etc. And professionals think more of organ and treatment related, such as treatment of pain or bowel function. So ask your patients what they want in their recovery and how they want to set goals so you can better support them in their goals instead of yours. Get active. That's how you make impact. Become a believer and think along with our prehab family. When you believe the benefits of being active, it will also be easier to convince patients and to embrace lifestyle improvement as part of treatment. So please just take a moment to yourself and enjoy this exercise, or call it energizer. A few weeks ago, I was invited to present again and challenged to do an energizer myself. As you can see here, they needed to move the camera a little. This was broadcasted online as well. So please exercise along with me. Do some squats so you may feel more energetic soon. Because if you feel more energetic and you feel convinced about what exercise does, you can convince your patients better as well. You can keep on going, and I will keep on going with this presentation. Prehab is another very welcome solution to challenge inactivity before surgery. And Professor Carley, as I said, made impact and shared his journey as a first believer. But still not everyone started implementing. So how can we make sure prehab will be soon available for every patient in the world? Part of the solution might be knowing why prehab is so complex. Prehab is a great example of integrated value-based health. And implementing prehab is complex in both width and height. Looking at the content, like the horizontal line here, it already took us 3 years to build bridges between silos of several health professionals. And that alone isn't, or appeared not enough. When you really want to make prehab implementation successful, you also need to have insurances, managers, government, related industries, and science on board. And how you can integrate this best into your health system, looking at an important role of primary care. So there's many partners involved and many partners needed to really make this an implementational success. Another part of the solution might, and to make your implementation more active and faster, is to learn from others. Recently, June Davis and Daniel Santamina have both published valuable papers describing a stepwise approach to setting up a prehab service, with practical examples how 3 countries, Canada, the UK and the Netherlands, managed to do so, and a description of prehab and its position in the full continuum of care. So I would just advise you have a read and enjoy the practical advices how you can start your own prehab service, because many challenges that we and they have been going through are shared in this. To further help, I've made a slide including all benefits of prehab. This may help you to convince important stakeholders around you. Prehab makes patients and the healthcare system less vulnerable and offers more treatment options, and it creates a positive health and behavioral change. There is a huge window of opportunity which allows several teachable moments on all aspects of a lifestyle change. Includes smoking, alcohol cessation, medicational use, exercise, nutrition, mental change. So it's a very interesting concept with a big impact in numbers, as well as I showed you before. So prehab forces us to offer highly efficient and high quality services in such a short period of time. I hope that I inspired you today of what inactivity in general, but also before surgery, impacts and how we can impact this big impact. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and I would love to see you again in real, to share our experiences and to build prehab into the future and the worldwide future for everyone. Have a great day.